It's a time for pick it from China. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. In today's video we're going to take a close look at a universal controller. And you know, I didn't pick it up from AliExpress, it came with my Retro Station PC. Later on I realized that this wireless controller is a very cool option. Not only when it comes to all the capabilities of different systems that you can use it on, for example the iOS, Android, Switch and PC and PlayStation PC. There was another thing I found really appealing to it, because this thing does have the support for X input. Okay, so when it comes to the product, it's actually the product number V13. So the product name is Bluetooth Direct Connection Game Handle. You know, it makes no sense whatsoever. One other interesting thing is how long you can actually use it. 400 milliamp tiny battery, but it will give us around 6 to 10 hours. And yeah, if you need to charge it, at minimum having a 500 milliamp 5-volt charger. But the first thing I found quite interesting, that it does have PC support, and that is what we're going to be actually using it for today. And also another thing I found really appealing is the way of the form factor and the way just how comfortable it is. This is not your typical, let's say, chemical PlayStation controller that has like the extra feature if you sniff it you get really high. Now this is one of those controllers that doesn't feel chemical at all and is very comfortable. So I have I think normal hands, but if you have smaller hands, bigger hands, it's a very comfortable one. Particularly when it comes to the back over here, you can see that we do have a very nice form factor, and just holding it I feel, man, this is so comfortable. The ABXY buttons, they're absolutely beautiful round shape, and the travels quite long but has a very nice feedback. We do have normal, not digital analog stick, because this is just a cheap solution. But when it comes to the D-pad, also this has an absolutely fantastic, let's say, overall feeling. There comes even some extra cool stuff. So in here we're finding, say, extra attachment you can basically put on the D-pad itself. I've been messing with it with and without, and I've noticed this is so an improvement. It makes it even better than it already is. However, you can already see the LEDs are blinking over here trying to find connectivity. For the connectivity, what is kind of cool, where this thing is on Bluetooth connection, I've been messing with it, putting it on Bluetooth with my PC. Connection, no problem, but getting it into the X input, like an Xbox 360 control, was kind of a little bit of a hassle, and it works very well when you're using the dongle. You just plug it in and it works as a charm. However, when it comes to compatibility, there's a little bit of a couple of things that you need to know. Okay, so the toilet paper manual is actually quite good, because here we're finding all of the information. So this thing is capable of switching between different kind of systems, like I mentioned before, PlayStation, Switch, Android, iOS, a lot of cool things. So in here we're finding all kinds of, let's say, information, how you need to actually set it to a different configuration over here. So what is interesting, we do have over here the PC equipped TV PlayStation 3 host with a 2.4 wireless connection guide, but also here we're finding that other part, so that has even for the Switch. So you need to read through it. You need to have certain, let's say, combinations by activating the certain, let's say, the certain support for your system itself. Where I am a big fan of this controller itself, there is a downside to the connectivity. So they're still using micro USB, and yeah, there's a little bit of a downside, simply because if this is a little bit of wear and tear on the cable or connection or both, charging can be a problem. However, beside that negative part, does have an absolutely great shoulder buttons over here with a nice membrane feeling, no micro switch. And we do have, say, triggers, but I am guessing they are not analog. Not analog, I think they're just, say, travel trigger lookalike buttons, because you do feel a click at the end. And of course a smaller battery, but will give you a couple of hours of playing time. But let's hook it up. One of the important elements I want to have is the X input, because for programs or application front ends like this, Lunchbox or BigBox, it's super easy. It's just plug and play, automatically recognize everything, so we don't need to set up anything. The same goes actually for the emulators, because the Xbox 360 or X input is absolutely great and compatible. So one of the plus sides when it comes to this controller. Starting off with some emulation. And yep, this controller is just what I mentioned before, plug and play without any problem. So another feature is this piece of plastic on top of the D-pad, makes navigating around in the games so much better than your typical D-pad. I've been playing with a lot of D-pads, with many controller handhelds, you name it, but Oh boy, this is absolutely responsive and super easy to use. Man, it's great. But if you're going to be looking into some different emulators, so RetroArch is absolutely great, just plug and play. But if you're getting into, let's say, PlayStation 2 emulation, doesn't matter. Like some of the systems you need to set it up, but most of them will automatically recognize this controller. So what we can actually do, if you don't like this, you can just remove it. It will give you like a slightly different overall experience, because now we have a different height when it comes to, let's say, the D-pad itself. But beside that, this is absolutely fun, and the controller is just it's so much amazing to play with this games like this. And this is tricky, it doesn't matter. Another interesting thing is like when getting into the homebrew games, like in Street of Rage remake. I've noticed like if you don't have a right controller, also here we struggle. It's going to be a hit or miss, particularly when it comes to these like homebrew games or the engines where they're made on. But also with this controller, didn't have any problem whatsoever. I just started it up, it automatically was configured to an Xbox controller, so it was easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Come on! Woo. Oh man, I love these soundtracks, so cool. However, when it comes to the controller here with these games, so here is a great example how the D-pad will work, or like work great. So I already mentioned before, it's like if you're getting into some games, you can remove the piece of plastic on the D-pad. I've been doing that particularly with, let's say, the fighting games or the beat 'em ups. When I'm gonna be removing this, I feel like a less overall great experience, because we do have a nice travel for the D-pad, but just the way how it's shaped, this piece of plastic is absolutely and just a great addition. Makes navigating, makes navigating so much easier. Okay, so I just wanted to check out some Tony Hawk Pro Skater HD remix. This is absolutely a blast to the past with this system. Oh, I hate that move. But another experience I had with it, and positive experience, is this controller and of course the D-pad. It doesn't help my gameplay because I'm still messing it up. However, when you're just playing it, it's so much fun just experiencing these old school remakes. And I've noticed no discomfort when it comes to playing, because this is one of those games where you're going to be like gripping very hard around the controller to try to get all the tricks out, and then it's going to be super important to have a good controller with a great grip, and this is absolutely one of my favorites now to play. I totally understand why the retro station guy picks this particular controller. Not only it's cheap, but it is kind of good, and we do have like many different functionalities of different systems. I just wanted to mainly focus on the PC because I'm going to be using it for that. I hope you don't really mind. So when it comes to, let's say, the attachment for the, I have really no idea why this is not in the box, maybe because you need to buy it separately or a different model. But out of the box, if you're going to be putting in an X input and the dongle, I didn't have any problem whatsoever, and we can use it for all kinds of emulators. Thank you all for watching, consider subscribing, let me know in the comments what do you think of it, did you ever try it, and it will be great to see you in the next video.